Be able to read any messages anybody has. Alright, welcome to the hashtag Ask All Sides of Kennebec. I was almost thinking of my other podcast show. Almost gave the wrong introduction there. We have Linda M. Wooten, right?
Yes.
In studio today. I'm glad to have you here today.
Thank you, Sean. Glad to be here.
I met Linda just recently. She is running for U.S. Senate. She is going to be the independent pick running against Susan Collins.
And Gideon.
Yes, and Gideon. Can't forget that one. But let me get this shared so that we can make sure that we get everybody we want to come on. So just give me a split second here. So also on All Sides of Kennebec too, just a standpoint from something new that we're trying to do. If you have a business or a company and you're looking to get any advertisement done, we do have a pretty good following. We also have very good prices to do some advertising for you. So that's one thing that we wanted to get out to you guys. Also, we are still looking for guests, always looking for guests. So if you know anybody that is doing anything within the communities and running politically, is looking for a platform, as long as it's an honest platform, an honest outlook that you're running, like Linda's here, we are definitely willing to help with some coverage to get your name known. That way people can get to know you and all that good stuff. So that's one thing that we're doing now. Also getting to know Linda a little bit. Linda has a website. Just let people know what that website is.
Yes, I had fun with this actually. It's www.Wooten for M-E. Yeah, you could remember it Wooten for Maine or Wooten for me. So I am both. But Wooten, FORME.com is the website. And I'm also on the Facebook, Linda M. Wooten for U.S. Senate. Twitter, I'm also on Twitter, Wooten for Maine, WOOTEN FORMAINE.
That's one thing we got to get going is our Twitter. That's the only thing we don't have. We're working on getting everything shared over to our YouTube channel. So All Sides of Kennebec for our YouTube channel. Don't forget that one. And I just want to make sure that I shared it over to my page so that I know people are going to be able to see us. And then we can get into some good stuff. And maybe if people have questions, we can also take your questions too live. So if you have something that you'd like to ask Linda, feel free to put it up.
Be happy to respond.
Yes,
to get to know you.
Yes,
concerns.
I can ask so many questions. I know what I kind of want to know and what I went through to put down for questions. Also, Linda is looking for volunteers. What kind of volunteer work are you looking for?
Well, right now I need canvassers. I have been mailing out petitions to individuals who have wanted to help, and I'm giving them a self-addressed stamped envelope to send the petition back after they do the circulator's oath with the notary, of course. And typically you can get it notarized at the bank you deal with free, and then I'll make sure that they get vetted with the towns that the people who signed are from. But I do need a lot of help because I'm running as independent. I'm required to have 4,000 signatures, and as you probably know, other individuals who are in a party only need 2,000 signatures. So I'm at a disadvantage here. I need 4,000 signatures. I need a lot of help with that. And possibly, if someone wants to volunteer as a notary, because there is a couple places of business who had agreed to have the petitions, and they might not be able to go to the bank to get it notarized. So I wanted to be able to bring a notary to them to swear an oath.
Yeah, that definitely makes a big difference if you can have a notary within the group.
Absolutely.
I can vouch for that.
So for now, that's the need. I'm not asking for any contributions until that takes place, until I know I'm going to get on the ballot.
Right. I found that a little weird too, that if you're running on, because it would be considered unenrolled, correct?
Yes.
So as an independent, I found that a little weird that they require 4,000 instead of, I believe, what is it, 2,100 or 2,000?
2,000.
It's 2,000.
They recommend more.
Right. But yeah, I found that a little strange that they make you do a little bit more legwork. So
the good thing is, though, because I'm running as an independent, it's just required for you to be a registered voter. You can be Democrat, you can be Republican, you can be from the Green Party. Anyone can sign my petition as long as they're a registered voter here in Maine.
That's good to know. Also, if you guys are interested on putting your name on her petition, we are here in the Waterville Concourse. It's 5 East is the address. It's opposite of Goodwill. We are in the red building. We'll be here probably about an hour and a half. So if you feel like you want to come help out and give her some signatures, we're here. Also, let me grab some other information I have. I gotta give some shout outs. I have right now I can take petitions for Jay Allen. Jay is running for Congress, and he's a 20-year Army veteran. He has a really good campaign. I've met him twice. Once was up at the Capitol, and I think the other one was in Clinton, if I remember right. It was a while back, but he's a really good guy, and he's running in District 1, so he will be up against Shelley.
Pingree.
Thank you. I can never say her last name. Everyone knows, I'm horrible.
That's okay.
I'm horrible with names.
I usually am.
So, so there's that, and also if you are in the 2nd District. And you're in the Waterville area. It's kind of an odd one, but I also have a petition for Adrian Bennett. Also, I guess we could give a shout out to Eric Brakey too. Linda also has petitions for Eric here. So, like I said, it's 5 Concourse East here in Waterville. It's the red building. We are opposite of Goodwill. If you drive by, there's little. I put a street number up. It says 5, and it says #ask. You gotta look. They're really small, but they are there. So you are definitely welcome to come down. We encourage you guys to. It could definitely help out. Derek says he'll be here in about 30 minutes. So, like I said, we'll be here for a little while. If things change, we'll let you know. Linda's looking for the volunteers to do some volunteering. Also, another thing I'm sure Linda's looking for is people that are interested in maybe hosting Linda. I know some people, like up in Bangor, I've seen a few candidates, the people put together to meet at the restaurant and have a candidate come out and talk. So if you are interested in Linda as a candidate, I'm sure that could be something that she would be willing to arrange, because she is trying to get her name out. So definitely there's that.
Absolutely, and I enjoy meeting people. I would love to meet everyone out there as much as possible. I know that there's people all over the state who wanted to sign the petition, and I've agreed to try to schedule a venue. There is something going on President's Day up in Calais. I can't pronounce the name of the restaurant, but it's on my site.
Yes. You have it on your Facebook?
Yes.
Okay.
For President's Day, I have a venue, and one of the people who are supporting me is trying to get people to go to it. So just look on my website, you'll see the venue I'm referring to, and I would be happy to meet you.
And we have a question coming in. It says, Linda, what is your main platform issues? So I guess what are your top 3 main issues that are dear to you, I guess?
I tell you that the Second Amendment is very dear to me. Pro-life and jobs. I have to say this because jobs are needed. Gainful employment is needed for people to be able to live, to be able to enjoy life, to be able to afford housing, food, warmth in the winter. We know how hard it is here in Maine. We need good jobs, good paying jobs, and a lot of our jobs have left the state. I love how Governor LePage point blank stated, it's because it's expensive here.
Yes.
Heat is expensive here. Regulations. We need to, of course, have regulations. We don't want our rivers to be, polluted.
Right, we don't want them glowing neon green.
But we do want to make sure that people can afford to have businesses here and to employ people. Pro Second Amendment, definitely. I am a gun owner, and it's something that I've wanted for quite a while. I finally became an owner last fall. The reason why I wasn't prior, out of respect for my husband, who didn't want a firearm in the house. So, and as many of you know, I lost him last August to a sickness. And so now I am an owner, and I want to protect my right. I want to protect the rights of everybody else. And our U.S. Constitution does state that our rights shall not be infringed, and also our Maine Constitution says our right will be not questioned. That's huge. Pro-life. Roe versus Wade, it's gone far beyond what I think they imagined when they passed this in the Supreme Court. Right now, you can abort a child at any development.
Looking to sign any petitions?
On any stage of development. So it's near and dear to my heart to protect the unborn.
This is to be on the ballot.
Which one are you looking to sign? Because
We have a petition signer here today.
Or District 1?
We need more people to come on in and join us. But the U.S. Constitution is, I uphold the Constitution, I uphold the Maine Constitution, and I hope that answers your questions, Lucille. Very good platform issue, she says. Thank you so much, Lucille. It's very nice to be able to communicate with you today. If you have any more questions, I'd be happy to
that one's for Alan,
respond.
And then the other one would be Linda, Brakey, and Linda. So these are the other 2 that you could sign.
So this is just to get on the ballot?
Yeah, just get on the primary. And this is some information on Linda, if you want to take that with you. Cool. Alright guys, we had somebody come in wanting to sign some petitions, so I apologize for walking away. But so Linda has some really good values that I personally believe we haven't seen in a candidate in a really long time. As a Republican, I've lost a lot of respect for Collins, unfortunately, just over the last couple of days. Her vote to continue the sham trial, I personally believe is a sham. That really hit hard. But as going for ranked choice voting, she still will be one of my picks. So she's since we have to play the game, I will have that. But so I definitely want to commend you on having really strong values. It's something that I think people will really resonate with.
I believe it's time. We need to stand up and vote our conscience and vote conservative. I really believe we have a good chance if everyone would agree to do that.
Yeah. Also, why'd you decide to run? What made you just woke up one day and?
Well, yes and no. I've been thinking of this for the past 2 years, and it's something I shared with a group a couple of years ago, that this has to happen. We can't do this anymore. The Republican platform is not being upheld by Susan Collins, and she has never done anything to protect the unborn while she was there, and she chips away at our Second Amendment rights any chance she gets.
Yes.
She's also proposed the red flag laws, which
Right.
is a very scary thing that's happening in D.C. And in our state.
Thank you so much. Linda thanks you too.
Thank you. That would say that a family member could call the authorities and complain about an individual that they're afraid might hurt somebody, even though if that person's never hurt anyone,
Right.
or never even threatened anyone, and that gun could be confiscated from that individual without a trial,
I was just watching the news, and
without due process.
I want to say, was it I believe it was Colorado. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on the state, but it was a 6-year-old man. The man has never been a threat in the community.
Right.
He come to find out, he was actually somebody that went to the town meetings, did what he was supposed to, and by the looks of it, because he was a Republican, somebody targeted him.
Sure.
And without that due process,
Right.
and being pro Second Amendment, the way people feel about their firearms in this country, unfortunately, it ended up with him passing away, because what ended up happening, I guess, was he set his gun down, and they were talking, and when they informed him that they were going to take his gun, he picked his gun up. He didn't
Right.
point it at him.
I read the same.
But because
case.
he touched it, they
Right.
didn't like that, and
Yes. That was in his own home.
Yes, in his own
That
home.
occurred. Yes.
So yeah.
And he didn't know he was targeted.
Right,
either.
right.
He had
Yeah,
no idea
this is something
complained
that
about.
this has come out later on.
Right.
So there's so you've been in Maine all your life.
Yes.
Yes.
60 years this year.
Good, awesome.
Portland, outskirts of Portland.
Yep,
I was
yep.
born and raised there. And then I've lived in various parts of Maine.
Yeah.
After that,
I see you went to school here in Maine.
Yes.
Give the people a little bit of information about what you did in school. And
Okay, great, sure. I went to a variety of Portland schools during high school, even a parochial school for a little while. And later on, I went to the University College in Bangor, which is part of the University of Maine in Orono system. I received a associate degree in social services, human services. And I then went back to work on a bachelor's degree. I did public policy courses, law courses, business administration. I'm currently completing a real estate course. I'm a lifelong learner. I don't think we're ever too old to learn.
Right.
There's so much, there's a lot of evolving. So go for it, anybody out there. It's good stuff.
What have you done politically already? Have, like volunteering?
Yes. Well, I've done a lot of activism.
Right.
I marched against Monsanto in Portland way back when, and met some great people through that process from all political spectrums.
Yeah.
That's
what it's about.
It's not just a liberal thing or a Republican thing. I became Republican later in life. I joined into politics during the Ron Paul movement.
Okay.
And actually,
The Tea Party movement.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And I was elected the state committee woman for a time for Androscoggin County.
Awesome.
And I was part of the Republican Platform Committee, in which I took that to heart. And as you know, that's why I am where I am right now.
No, that's awesome. And like I said, I knew you'd done some stuff. Wasn't sure of all of it, but what were some of the things that you took away from doing all this activism? Like,
how people stick together, to get a common cause out there, awareness, achieving the actual agenda, I guess, if you will. Monsanto, as we know, they have to label if it's GMO now, and that was something that they were fighting against. It's very important to me to know that we have good quality food, and food sovereignty is important as well.
Yes, we just passed a food sovereignty thing here in Waterville just recently.
So I like how people can pull their forces together no matter what party they're in.
That's one thing that I've because I moved from San Diego when I was around 10.
Oh, yeah.
So I've seen how big city is to Maine, and I love how the state of Maine, if something happened, say, like, because I moved here during the ice storm, 98, and just the way that the communities came together to help one another, it was amazing.
Yes.
And I've seen in the last 10 years, it feels like we're kind of losing that self-togetherness.
Right.
And I believe candidates like yourself would be the ones to bring that feeling back together.
Thank you.
Now, how empowering people, because I know welfare is a big thing in the state of Maine.
Sure.
Any ideas, plans on how you would like to implement anything on empowering people off of welfare?
Absolutely. Part of my job in social services is actually helping people off the system if they wish.
Right. That's one thing I've noticed is we don't develop the plan to help the person while they're finding work, or once they get a job. Once they get a job, it's forget about you.
Right.
And there's the transition period is the debate that I've been hearing a lot about is how do we empower people but keep it on the back end so that it doesn't eat away at the taxpayer base.
Right. Yes, agreed. And as a single parent, a good part of my adult life, I raised 3 children, and what individuals go through when they're on the system is they have to answer to the caseworker on, okay, where did this $10 go? I mean, I didn't want to live like that. And I didn't certainly want to wait for a check once a month for $500 to cover me and my children just so we could have medical care. I worked hard when my first husband and I divorced. I worked 2 jobs a day to get off that system. There was a time when we didn't have medical insurance, but you know what? It can be done. If you really want to move ahead, don't let these organizations to hold you down, because a lot of the time they want to hold people down to get their votes and to keep you dependent.
I noticed too, some administrations they rely on that federal dollar, and in order to get that federal dollar they have to meet certain numbers.
Right.
So it is kind of a repetitive cycle, a revolving door per se.
Yes.
And it's really shameful that they use people in that way.
Yes, it's exploitation in my mind, and the minds of many others, I'm sure. But there is a way to move ahead.
Yes.
It's finding that niche. You have to find out what your strengths are, find out what your loves are, find out how it will take to get there in that position. Maybe get some education, maybe have an apprenticeship. There's programs out there that might be able to assist you and find you that job that you'll love, that will excite you enough that you succeed.
We have another question. What do you most like about your opponent?
What I like most about my opponents?
Yes, opponents.
Gideon and Collins. I'm not running just against Collins. I am running against both.
Right.
Because both are anti-gun rights.
Yes.
Both are for abortion. So what I like most about them, Gideon has a really nice smile. You see it in all of her pictures, smiling. And Collins, I like that she voted for Kavanaugh.
Yes.
I like that she was honest, and I even typed out on my social media, Senator Collins, I'm so proud of you. And I even left her a message on her voicemail, if you will, to her headquarters. So I like that about her, and I like that Gideon. I don't really know much about Gideon, to be quite honest. I only know that she's running as a Democrat.
Yeah. Moving back to some educational standpoints, how do you feel about more federal dollars towards like vocational type classes to getting people back to work? I guess.
Absolutely. I really believe it starts in high school. I know that there's a lot of students that get stuck into this liberal arts agenda where they go to school for 4 years and they don't have any specialty in the end.
End up
it's
with
so
a worthless degree.
It's so sad, because it's expensive. And I really believe that in high school we need to have vocational programs. Back when my oldest son was in high school, he built a couple houses in the program that he was in high school.
That's awesome.
And learned those trades and computers, all of that. There's a lot of opportunity for high school students to get skills that they need in high school before they even go to a trade school if they wish later. And I believe that there was a program, and I have to do a little more research to find out where it went because I haven't heard any more about it, but that where a student could actually earn an associate degree while they're in high school or pretty near all of the credits that they need to have it.
That would be something.
Yeah.
I think that would also help with if we could get the vocations and once the students had the skill base and the labor, possibly people like yourself would be the ones to interest bigger corporations to come in and provide those jobs for the younger youth that are moving away.
Absolutely.
I mean, the argument becomes then too bringing people into the country to replace the population we've lost to regroup those numbers. But I mean, how do you feel about the border with Trump and the wall and all that?
Well, I feel bad for other countries and what's happening to them and why they feel they need to seek asylum here in America. America is a great country, so it doesn't surprise me, but I'm very concerned that their own country isn't being helped enough to want them to stay where they are. I don't understand what's happening so much that their own beautiful South America that they want to leave and come here, or even other countries because of, I'm not sure exactly what's happening. I guess it's their economy, corruption.
Yeah, I know.
But there has to be something that gives.
Yeah, that and I know there's organizations that want to do good. They come in and they try to help, but they exacerbate the situation and essentially make it worse.
Right. So I agree with President Trump on what he's doing so that the families don't become separated, because that has been a common thing that the liberal side wants to make sure that everybody knows is that Uncle Trump, I want to say, is keeping the families separate, but that's not the case.
Right.
What's happening is when they come into the border, they're fleeing. We don't see them again.
Right. I was reading, I'm a statistics person, and we don't have statistics that have been gathered here in Maine, so we have to go off the federal government statistics. But federal government statistics say between 85 and 90% of asylum seekers don't actually get asylum.
Right.
And then like the Mills administration, like I could understand kind of getting them able to work because the lesser of two evils, I'd rather see them working than collecting benefits.
Absolutely, understood, and I agree with that.
But the benefit package that's being offered outweighs that.
Yes.
So there's no incentive for them to do well, and then you have these other organizations that I feel like they're using them just like cattle in a sense. It's really sad that they do that, and that's one thing I'd like to see fought.
Yeah, their advocates are see a lawyer right away. Let's word this just so that you can stay. But then what President Trump is doing is keeping the families together in Mexico.
Right.
while they wait validation for their
Yes.
asylum.
Yes.
And if the validation occurs, they can come in. But right now, they are in need of waiting. And the advocates for people coming in and seeing a lawyer, they're trying to fight that.
Right.
But President Trump right now, it's the deal is they're staying in Mexico while they're waiting validation.
Yeah, I also run.
Which makes sense.
I also run another page called Thorpe News Media. We also do Thorpe Yellow, which is our main news, but Thorpe News Media. I have an editor. She also does some stuff with Border News Network, and one of the reporters for Border News Network he has joint citizenship from U.S. and Mexico, so he goes back and forth on the borders, and he goes on to the Mexican side and shows how these lawyers are coming into Mexico and they meet, and then when the authorities come in, they all spread back out, and it's really, like, I understand, like I said, that they want to help, but it's almost the best way I could describe it is when the United States donates a bunch of shoes to a country or donates a bunch of clothes, and then the country loses what they have for textile jobs because they have all this influx.
Yes.
So,
yes. So it puts other people out of jobs who are manufacturing in that particular country. Yes,
right.
It is an issue.
That
affects import and export.
Right. And this question comes from an older gentleman.
Okay.
He wanted me to ask you, would you be more involved with giving the State House more direction? Like, Susan Collins doesn't come to our State House very often and give direction. Like, it feels like she's disconnected herself. Would you be a senator that would be willing to talk with other House representatives, but be on the main aspect of it? Would you be willing to be more seen at the Capitol, I guess?
More vocal, absolutely. I think it's needed, that direction, and I respect the legislature and what they have to go through, and listening to the people. I know that the people are important, but doing the right thing is important for the people. And I would definitely speak more, be more vocal at the Augusta State House, Capitol. And I have been up there a few times to do some protestings and for Trump,
right,
to get him on the ballot, and for welfare reform. So I definitely would do that as a senator as well.
Definitely. Taxes. What do you think about Trump's tax plan? For it, against it?
Well,
think it could be better?
I think that lessening the taxes can always get better, no matter who's in charge. It's gotten out of hand. I actually went to Navigating Under the Dome back when it was offered to people to see how bills are proposed and how it goes through committee. And I went to one particular class there about zero budgeting. And I know that that's not realistic for huge major things, but I think it's realistic for some other things where programs that aren't effective, programs that never happened that are budgeted,
right,
that can go back to zero.
The pork that gets stuffed into the bills.
That can go back to zero. That's called zero budgeting. And if there's a little more needed, then you kind of inch up. But if you go back to zero budgeting on the things that we can do zero budgeting on, that I would believe would lessen our taxes.
Definitely.
You know, what's working, what's not. Get rid of it if it's not working.
How do you feel about our government size? Do you think we need more government, less government?
No, they work for us. I think that it's gotten out of hand where they believe that we work for them. They work for us. They're our employees. If they want to stick around and hear us out, and they're doing a job, they're doing a good job, keep them. If they're not, get them out. They work for us. They're supposed to be helping us as Americans.
Definitely. What about our Maine seniors? They've taken a lot in the last year.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially with the Mills administration and not releasing the money that was due to the nursing homes.
Yes, our older Maine citizens have to be venerated. I mean, they've lived a rough life. They've been around a long time, and they've seen a lot. They've endured a lot. We need to take care of them in the end. We can't be taking care of non-citizens over our seniors, definitely not. And I know that some of the budgeting has been taken away from them and taking care of their needs, and we can't have that. They need veneration at the end of their life, definitely. Need to be taken care of.
I guess we can move into another area that was asked for me to ask you is our veterans. Do you feel that Trump is working in the right direction on fixing the VA? Do you feel that the VA is improving? Do you think there could be more done?
Well, I think that whatever's needed for the VA should be taking place. I'm not sure. We'd have to hear from them on the result. I know that President Trump supports and assists the VA, and I do as well. And Susan Collins probably does. Gideon probably does. But it has to always be to the degree that we're taking care of them before any non-citizens.
Yes, I agree. Mm-hmm. Another one that was vet suicides. Do you feel that the programs, or should we be investing more into programs to help those vets?
Absolutely. It's sad, that anyone comes back to our country and feels suicidal. I know post-traumatic stress disorder is a big part in that, what they've experienced, and it's sad to be traumatized that much that someone would be suicidal. They really need to be able to be in some type of group that they can support one another, because they only understand what they've gone through, and we need to have that available to them. Definitely.
Do you feel Trump's tariff plan has been effective?
I believe it is. I admire him for that. He's a tough man. He knows the economy. He knows marketing. He knows what makes things work. Imports, exports. I think he's a tough man. I know he got a lot of flack for that. What he do with China, but China, put their head up. They were listening.
Yeah, from what I've noticed, one thing that's not being reported is a lot of the plans that we had have been doubled.
Yeah.
To the point that it's double the amount of what they were taking per year.
The steel industry, one example. How could we be so dependent on steel for a country like China? All they have to do is say, no more steel for you, America. Mm-hmm. And we're in a pickle. We have no steel. We needed to be able to have our own,
right?
And we need to be independent.
That would be the next question. Would be
we need to be independent,
right? Would you fight for Bath Iron Works workers?
Absolutely. Those are jobs, and that's our defense.
And I think it's Louisiana is the other one that we compete with. I think that I want to say it's Louisiana.
It could be shipbuilding.
Yeah. But would you be willing to fight to try to land all of those contracts for me?
Yeah, a lot of people are upset that we have no Air Force Base any longer.
Right.
So Air Force Base being shut down. I don't understand why that occurred, but I should learn a little bit more about that. I know people are upset with that, and they wish that had not taken place, and they know that Susan Collins is instrumental in shutting that down. Bath Iron Works being open, wonderful. Yes, I would be very supportive of more. It means jobs. It's good to have non-secular jobs. Secular jobs are governmental kind of,
right.
Taxpayer funded. Non-secular is more of a business, an independent business, corporation, that kind of thing. We need both.
Definitely.
But I think that it would be better not to have government fund
Yeah,
wages.
I feel like we're becoming, a lot more people are becoming more dependent on the state than should be. It feels like people are losing their sense of identity, in a sense, I guess. One other thing that I guess we could finish up on that was asked of me to ask you about is what do you think about reforming our adoption procedures here in the United States?
That's a great question. It has to take place. I have seen, there's I don't know if others have seen how women who have had babies can actually drop their baby off at it's a haven kind of box where the baby is found the next morning and the baby is put up for adoption because the mother can't handle that. And I feel bad that moms have to go through that, most definitely. But I think the adoption process, making that easier, making it so there's not so much red tape, certainly would assist the mother who's just doesn't think that they can handle having the child. It's a sad state of affairs when the mothers only think that abortion is the only way to eliminate that. It's more than stress.
Right.
It's not. I can't even use the word stress. It's.
Well,
come on, moms.
And that's another thing too. Is I think to move in the right direction. On top of that, would be to make it incentive for a woman to keep her child.
Absolutely, yeah.
That would be one thing I'd like to see a senator fight for.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's and because that's one problem that I feel the Republican Party has become known as the party of no, and so I feel that if we can save the life and help in that process, I think it would be more beneficial to where we stand.
What is sad too is that people in the main Republican Party who hate abortion, any forms of it, are still going to vote for Collins because they think a vote for me is a vote for Gideon. Collins and Gideon are the same on abortion. They approve of abortion at any stage of development. A vote for me is a vote for me. I'm conservative. If you all just take the leap with me, after I get on that ballot, make me your first choice, we'll make the real change back to where it needs to be.
And that's the thing too, another thing that a lot of Republicans and conservatives are talking about, I've noticed, is that they were talking there, I'm only going to put one name. Well, I've been talking with a few people and we've come to the conclusion that if we're going to fight and try to get rid of ranked choice voting, the only way to get rid of it is to essentially beat the Democrats at their own game, in a sense. So, although I don't agree with ranked choice voting,
it's what we have.
I think also we have that notion of splitting the ballot and it could possibly give it to the Democrat. Mm-hmm. But this time around, we have to remember we have ranked choice voting. Mm-hmm. So it kind of changes that scenario. So it's a little different now.
Right.
So there's to keep that in mind.
Yes. I know that with the Republican Golden Race, a lot of us were following that because it was ranked choice voting, and how Poliquin got the plurality of the votes initially. And then Tiffany Bond, she was an independent, liberal, but she was independent running to manipulate the system to see how her votes were going to affect the outcome. And she even stated it online that that's what she was doing. She ran not even to win. She ran to see how she could manipulate those ranked choice votings. And in the end, and she was telling everybody, don't vote for Poliquin as your second choice. She wasn't telling everybody who to vote for in the second choice, but it was obvious who to vote for in the second choice because they were all liberals, and it ended up being Golden. So what I'm doing is I'm running to win. I'm not running to manipulate this. I want to be your first choice. I need 34% of the vote, and then can perhaps get the second choice votes. There are pro Second Amendment and pro-life supporters in both parties, and I'm just asking you to take that leap with me.
Definitely.
Vote for me first.
Before we sign off, let people know where they can find you once more.
www.wooten, that's WOOTENFORME.com, wootenformaine.com. Or Linda M. Wooten for U.S. Senate on Facebook. Linda, so many. And Twitter, Wooten for Maine, M-A-I-N-E on Twitter.
Definitely. All right, guys.
Thank you.
I'm Sean Karen. Thank you for checking out All Sides of Kennebec. Remember that hashtag ask. Until next time, be easy, be safe, and remember, a true patriot questions everything.
Hi, Derek.